We've been a little bit spoiled here since the beginning of August with temperatures that have been a far cry from that heat wave we had in July. Topped out at 84 degrees at Joplin Regional Airport today. That record from 105 dates back to 2011. Look at that record low right there. In 1950, the warmest it ever got on August the 3rd was 53 degrees. That's a little chilly for my blood right there. As far as what we're looking at for our high temperatures, that string of 90s that wrapped up the 7th month and opened up the 8th month, look at that, 84, 84, 84. But still, our 10-day average sits very close to 92 degrees. So it's been nice to have a little cool off. Little light rain on the eastern edge of southwest Missouri is what we saw, but it didn't amount to anything. Now, earlier this morning in the afternoon, it just maintained. It's broken up right now, but right here along the Arkansas-Missouri state line, especially in Berry County, we got about 1/4 of an inch of rain from a little spot that just didn't want to budge. Let's talk about that haze up in the air. Interactive map of air quality. That's a fancy name. We don't need to get into fancy names. Let's go back to where we stand right now. We've got the majority of the 4 states in the yellow category, and then as you push out to the western edge of southeast Kansas, that's in the orange. That doesn't mean anything. If you want to break it down, here's what we need to know. The yellow, air quality acceptable. Those that may be a risk, that's going to be COPD, that's going to be asthma, particularly those who are unusually sensitive to air pollution. That's going to be your young kids. That's going to be your elderly relatives, all right? And we're going to take this into tomorrow as well. And I'm going to show you why here in a second. Now, that orange category, that's where we get a little bit more serious. Those sensitive groups, the COPD and the asthma, may experience health effects, general public less likely to be affected. But now, as we transition into our tomorrow forecast, this is a great thing about this map, folks. airnow.gov, airnow.gov. We can go into tomorrow and see how everything begins to move down to the south of us. Now, granted, it still encompasses portions of southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma in that orange category. But then we see the majority of southeast Kansas that's actually been wiped out of the color code. And that's a wonderful thing because our jet stream is grabbing all that particulate matter, what you would call your ash and your smoke from the West Coast wildfires, and it's just grabbing it from the mid-level jet and just taking it due south. So it's a game of patience and being safe, and that haze should be out of here in a couple of days. Now, what's going to replace it? Heat. So it's like, okay, we don't want to do anything prolonged outside, any strenuous activities while the haze is around. When we can get outside, then we're just going to be right back into the mid-90s here over the weekend. So we're going to have to replace all the air quality warnings with the heat advisories, and that is going to last all into middle of next week as summer has eventually returned here through the second week of August.
Michael